So welcome. This is the 8th of March and Deni and I are diving into the energies of this week. So welcome, Deni.
Thanks. Hi, everyone.
And I think I'm going to start this week. I'm just going to dive into a little bit of numerology and also just some energies that I were feeling into through the Akashic Records as well for this week and what's been coming up. It's a really interesting week. I'm actually really excited about it. So it's fun to we were just talking about this, it's fun to really sort of share this energy on a Monday and actually focus our intentions and our mind and our actions for the week ahead. So I hope that you enjoy this too. So just starting off with some numerology around this week, beginning the 8th of March. We're starting this week with a powerful vibration of the 8 energy that we were talking about last week. So this is a really good time today, in particular, the 8th day of this month. It's a really good time to set an intention for the week or the month ahead, to use this energy that's really supporting us at the moment to attract in what you want. This is a powerful time of attraction, so we might as well take advantage of this energy, particularly as it's supporting us so strongly at the moment. So this is really to do with abundance and wealth and finances. And this is something that I don't generally talk about, but you know, the numerology, and I'm sure we're going to see the astrology at the moment, is very much related to this at this time. So I would think of March as an opportunity to kind of up level your financial situation. And what I mean by that is looking at how to heal, if you need to, your relationship with money. So overcoming any feelings of lack or even fear of abundance. You know, sometimes we can be actually quite fearful of attracting in exactly what we want. So this is a really good time, particularly this week, to look at your relationship with money and finances. And also, I think I mentioned this last week, taking practical action is really important. So today, particularly, but also throughout this week, it's a really good time to set a strong intention for what you want to attract in, and then think of maybe three practical action steps that you can take for the rest of this month to actually bring that into your experience, and do one of those things each week for the next 3 weeks. And that will really help you to attract in what it is that you really want at this time. So that's just some action steps that you can take. Also, I don't think I spoke about it too much last week, but the vibration of 5, the number 5, we remember that this month of March is an 8 vibration. It's made up of the 5 and the 3 energy. And 5 seems to be a little bit more consciously around us this week as well. And this energy I touched on last week, it's all about curiosity, change, and freedom in particular. So it may also bring up questions around how much freedom you have in your life at the moment, or whether you're experiencing a lack of freedom, whether you've got a lot of obligation going on at this time. So whenever we're working with this energy of 5, our sense of freedom is something that we really start to notice. And it's also, this energy is also about constant change. It's kind of that energy of adventure and change and mixing things up a little bit as well. It ignites our passion and it brings a sense of expansion and growth. So it's an energy of movement. I think I can't even stop moving my body when I'm talking about it. It's like, you know, you just want to be moving with this energy. So it's all about moving and creating something new and different. So, you know, we talked about the 3 last week, bringing up inspiration and creativity, but this week the 5 seems to be the more powerful energy to really kind of embody in our experience this time. So the other side of 5 energy can be associated with feeling restricted or stuck in routine. So it's really about how can you mix that up? How can you take yourself out of your normal routines that might be making you feel bored or stuck in some way, and mix your energy up a little bit and bring something new into your experience. So whether you're feeling stuck in your mind or in your inability to take action, or even maybe you might be sensing fear rising around change, because we're in such a time of change at the moment. So these are all things that you might be experiencing over the next week, looking at that from a numerological perspective. So I also drew a card this week, and I used the same deck as I did last week, which was the Dream Dust Shamanic Tarot deck by Sue Kovacs. And I actually have two cards, which was interesting because I drew one and then another one popped out, in fact, 3 times, or twice actually. And then the third time I thought, I've just got to take this card. And I kept putting it back because it was the same card that I drew last week. And I did that thing of, it can't possibly be the same card again. But it was very insistent. So the first card I drew out was this one.
Oh, I love that card.
Sea Goddess, yes. And it just has such beautiful energy attached to it. It's just this really amazing visually. The picture is just stunning. But for me, this just felt all around heightened intuition, following our own path, allowing our intuition and our empathy to guide us, and stepping into our power, but also about holding strong boundaries, which I think it mentions there as well. So, you know, it's a very powerful card, and kind of really feels very connected to the message that I'll share in a moment from the Akashic record. And then, of course, my old faithful that really wants to be seen today was the Wind Sprite. But this week, the feeling around it seemed to be, again, the energy of the new ideas, new beginnings, new beliefs, new ways of showing up in the world. So anything that you want to invite in, this card really seems associated with that. So thinking about what it is that you want and what it is that's new, what's going to make your experience different and new. So that could be new love, you know, new relationship, something like that. You can invite it all in now. That's really what that card was speaking to today. So moving into the Akashic records, I love, of course, working in the Akashic records. And very rarely do I get such blunt and straightforward messages as I did for this week. So, you know, it was one of those times when, you know, this message is very clear, very succinct, and this is what it is. And it was just stop messing around and just get out there and do it. That was basically what the message was. Whatever it is that you've been putting off or doubting in or hiding from, it's time to take action. You know what it is because it keeps coming up and you keep avoiding it. So whatever that thing is for you, take action on it now. There has never been a better time to take action on it. This week, in fact, opens up a window of opportunity. So your ability to attract in what you really want now, and that combined with your heightened intuitive abilities, just creates this powerful time when you can really shift your energy in a very positive way. So a strong push now as well that we're being guided with to take practical action at this time. All of this comes together to shift you into a different way of being. So it's about changing I can't do this, that story that we can often tell ourselves, into maybe what if I just step in and see what happens? What if I just step in and take that first step? All you need to do is that first step, because once you've taken that, the next step will just unfold. So this energy, it's all about using the energy of the week to overcome anything that's creating a feeling of stuckness or stagnation, self-doubt, fear, or boredom. Take action. And that was it.
I love all of that, and I totally relate to it. And I love that there'll be pieces that I get from the astrology and from my cards that support it in different ways. So thanks for that, Fee.
You're welcome.
I also needed to add that I got 2 cards this week.
I love it.
I pulled one and the other one dropped out. So I'm like, all right, you need 2. And sometimes that happens. And I just trust that that was the way it was meant to be. So I love that you got 2 as well. I'm going to start, though, with a little bit of the astrology for the week. So as you said, we're on the 8th and we're going to about the 14th next Sunday. And just a few things that are happening during the week, because it's a big week. It's a beautifully supportive week. So there's we do start, as in today, with an exact conjunction between Pluto and Kali, the asteroid Kali. They're 2 massively big energies around the shadow side, if you like. So Kali is the dark goddess. Kali Ma, the mother, she's the truth seeker. So she'll be there wanting you to reach your truth on something. And with Pluto right there, it's the underworld. Pluto is the god of the underworld. So it's all that stuff that you maybe haven't wanted to face, or you push it away, you try and ignore it. So you've got Kali right there wanting you to look at all those uncomfortable places and bring them to light. We are in Pisces, so it's a very emotional month, but we've got a lot of support from Venus. So while there's Kali and Pluto exactly conjunct, you've also got Venus sitting in with the sun all month, supporting us. So it's a beautiful time maybe to go to those depths with the love that there is in the skies at the moment supporting us. That's the 8th. On the 11th, which is Thursday, depending on where you are, the 10th, Wednesday or Thursday, the sun is in exact conjunction with Neptune. And Neptune is the mystic. So all those, again, those places of tapping into your intuition and the depths. I love that you brought up boundaries before, Fee, because the thing about Pisces and also Neptune, who's home in Pisces, is there is a lot of depth and a lot of emotion there, but there's also sometimes too much. And so we can escape, leave our bodies, just, chill, zone out. So being aware of that, being aware that that there could be stuff coming up that you just don't want to face and you're going to numb in some way. So being aware of the boundaries around that. That's the 11th. And on the 13th, we have a new moon in Pisces. So it is a beautiful month to set intentions, as Fee said, working towards the 13th and maybe having some kind of a ritual around new moon in Pisces and what you want to attract in the coming month, because it is an emotional month. Doing something that the feeling is really important. So whatever it is that you're wanting to attract in, getting to the feeling of whatever that is, because it may not be the thing you want, whatever that might be, a new job. But what's the feeling that will get? And there might be another thing that is in your highest interest that can give you that same feeling. So really sitting in the feeling of what you want to attract. And any ritual, if you bring in anything to do with your creativity, it can help the ritual of the new moon this month. So just thinking that through, how can I create a ritual that brings in, that uses my creativity to feel into what it is you want to attract. And so that's the stars. And I also chose 2 cards to support it. And The first one I got is the Lover, which I love for this week because it is speaking to that place of Venus. And Venus is big this whole month. So the cards they're supporting. And I think with the second card that I picked, which was the Temple, to me, this would be talking about Venus, and the temple is the inner temple, the inner flame. And that brings to mind, for me, the goddess Vesta. And what I love about when I look at these two places in astrology is you have Venus sitting in Pisces, and at the completely the opposite side of the zodiac, you have Vesta sitting in Virgo. So like I said last week about the balancing between the two, you've got this beautifully supportive energy balancing Venus. So it's speaking about self-love. You may be wanting, as I said before, you may be wanting love. And actually, if you concentrate on the love and the love of self, that might bring about those feelings to manifest what you're wanting to in the world. But right now it's about having devotion to the things that you love, having some form of thinking about what is it that I'm worshiping at the moment. And that might be money or a job, or and possibly that needs to be looked at. It's asking you to go internal, particularly again in Pisces. What is lighting you up? Can you bring your center into self and not be looking externally so much for everything? It would be a beautiful ritual to start an altar this week, a place of putting things that mean a lot to you, things that you can, devotion and worship are the two words I keep getting. And I don't want you to be thinking in terms of maybe traditional religion, but maybe just where you put your time and attention can be looked at this week. Possibly you're putting it in places that are not in your highest, or and so if you just, it's a good time to be looking inside it. Okay, is there something else? Is there another place that I need to be looking at to put my time and attention? And I think that works really beautifully, Fee, with what you were saying before. If there's been no better time to manifest, just make sure that you've got that inner place working. When I say working, that's in alignment with what you really want, not what you maybe have been thinking all along you wanted. Just relook at, what is it that you really want, that's really important to you, that lights that inner flame and that creative spirit inside you, which I think is that, that wind sprite, that fun. So that's I think that is everything. It's also around body. So just, being really kind to yourself this week, nourishing yourself in the best way, maybe getting out and getting fresh air, just really concentrating on yourself. As I said, self-love, and a lot of that is the way that you treat your body. So just keeping your mind on that this week as well.
Beautiful. And I love that reflection that we kind of both have from those different directions around the inner inquiry and going in and being really clear about what it is you really want, rather than what it is you may be chasing, or that you might feel is the thing that you need to do at this time. You might be focusing your energy on your career when actually the real direction you're being taken in is to your relationships. Or we can often bypass what we really want to, or what we really need to be embodying at that time. But often that inner inquiry, just going in and being really clear, can help us. And you often find as well, when you do that everything shifts quite quickly around it once you get that clear path ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, so and with that Kali Pluto conjunction, that's, you know, they're going into slightly discomfort, you know, the discomfort, and there might be something around what you want to manifest that holds discomfort for you. So don't be afraid to maybe have a look at those places. You're
Oh,
supported.
yes, exactly. I mean, there's so much support that there's never really been a better time to go into the uncomfortable place of the shadow, because the support's there to lift you through that and journey through that much more quickly. I won't say easily, but you know, gracefully, maybe gracefully. We'll see. Um, there was something I wanted to bring into the conversation today around, I know you and I have been having conversations around this, and I thought it would be kind of just fun to explore it a little bit on the podcast today, around the energy of the elders that we're both really feeling very strongly at the moment, and how there's something sitting in the consciousness around how this energy from our elders, whatever that means for us in our different cultures and different places of understanding, but how this energy is really rising very consciously at the moment. And I wanted to open up maybe a conversation around that quickly before we finish off the podcast today, maybe with some inquiry around it. I'd love to hear your reflections on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that has been coming up a lot for me this week, in my dreams and in my conversations, and even in my paintings. I just keep, I keep getting the crone, or the wisdom keeper, coming up a lot, and how important right now it is for the wisdom that exists in this group to come, to be louder in the world at the moment. And an interesting thought I also had the other day was around the witch time, where a lot of those old elder women and wisdom keepers were basically um, um, got rid of from the world, or had to go into hiding. So all the magic that group of women had just disappeared from the world. And it's often, I think there's a saying about us being the granddaughters of the witches that they didn't burn. And actually, I get this really strong feeling that there's a lot of us that are those witches that did get burnt. And we're here again, as I think there are a lot on the planet at the moment, where we're in such a powerful time in human history. A lot of human beings have incarnated to be here to create the change that needs to happen in the world. And so that crone or wisdom keeper energy is within all of us. We just need to remember it and bring it up and bring it out. And I think, as you were saying earlier, Fee, about the time is now to do those things that you that there's a tap on the shoulder to do. I think a lot of that is the remembering and sharing that deep place, that wisdom keeper inside with the world. That's how it's showing for me.
Beautiful. And I love that reflection on it. And I know for myself, it's been very much this sense of we need to give permission to our wisdom keeper to surface, to really, and this is no matter what age we are either. It's our collective wisdom that we're stepping into, and there just feels like this almost like an urgency around this now, because our elders can guide us in this new direction that we're going now. We feel that we really need to be listening to what they have to offer. I had to really, I always have very beautiful conversations with a neighbor of mine who's this amazing woman who's in her 80s. And the other day she mentioned to me about a street party that they had in our street a few years before I moved in. And she said that she went to it and she felt really sad because as an old woman, no one spoke to her. And it just kind of touched me at my heart, because she said that, you know, that all the young couples with their children, they were all talking to each other and everyone just ignored her. And I thought, oh my God, they missed so much gold that she could share with them about being a mother. And, you know, she's done all of these things. And it just really touched me at this time, because I'm beginning to feel this strong desire to really connect with our elders and really listen to them, because they hold so much information to share with us. And I know for you and I, the journey that we're on at the moment is very much around this connection to elders, that I'm sure at some point we're going to be talking about on this podcast in a different way. And we're definitely looking into weaving this into our next retreat that's coming up this year. So, you know, there's a lot to explore here, but I would love if anybody has any questions or even reflections on how you're experiencing this yourself, to maybe share that with us. It would be lovely to bring that into the podcast too.
And I love the thought of maybe asking everyone to reach out, to have a look around you at the wealth of magic that is in maybe some people that are in your world that that you haven't tapped into. I know that when I go to a cafe now and I see a group of older women, I think to myself, oh, I'd love to get in on that conversation, because I often think that when you see a group of older women, that's when they let down the walls and the magic really does come out. That gets maybe silenced when there's a group, a mixed group, or different ages. And now I get this, oh, I wish I could be in the middle of that and find out what they're talking about. So maybe just stepping outside your comfort zone and opening up conversations with elders in your community. I don't have a grandmother. Both my grandmothers have passed well before I was born. So I have such a lot of respect for the elder community and the elder women in particular.
Yeah, and you and I are the same in that respect. Both of my grandparents passed before I was, well, one when I was very young and one before I was born. So yes, having that that in my community, I feel is just, I feel really blessed to have my beautiful neighbor near me, and I love our conversations. It's just really nice to be able to talk to her.
And just before we do finish up, Fee, I know that we talked about opening up the idea of anyone has any specific questions, just to leave them on the podcast or on the YouTube channel, and we will open up our thoughts and also the Akashics and astrology, and just maybe delve into places that you're interested in us looking at or discussing. So if you do have anything, we would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. That's exciting, you know, just to dive into different subjects and talk them through from the different places that we both come from. It's always lovely to get a more rounded kind of answer to those questions.
Yeah. Exactly. Excellent. All right. Well, have a good week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Absolutely. Bye.